Hello, and in case you don't know me, I am Bear from Bear's Photos. So, this year has been kind of a roller coaster year for me, but overall, it's been very blessed. And I just want to take a moment to thank some of the people that have helped me in my photography journey and just acknowledge their contributions. There's been a lot of people that have been instrumental in helping me get to where I am, like Allison Meeks for her wonderful logo here. Um, I started out in photography as a very young kid, about 8, 9 years old, with my dad's Bell and Howell 8mm movie camera, like you see here. And I think it was a little Instamatic. I remember I was a guest on a TV show in the audience, and I won a little Vivitar 110 millimeter Instamatic camera, and they had just come out, and I used it a lot. I shot hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of photos with it, and in school we had a photography class, and we did a lot of black and white because color processing for C41 was very expensive at the time. And so our lab there at school was a black and white lab. And I remember going in there and very carefully pulling the film, breaking the can, pulling the film out of the can. We used an old-fashioned bottle opener to open the cans up. And when we went to put the film in the can, there was a little metal ring that would twist. It's just basically wires, okay? And you would twist the film through this little gap around the wires, and then you set it in the can, put the lid on, and once you put the lid on, then you could turn the lights on. But the rest of that time, you're in absolute total pitch black. And so I learned to be able to see without seeing. And I remember the orange light that could be on once we had the picture in the bath, and we'd have three little tubs. One would be the developer, and then the fixer, and then the rinse. And then we'd hang them up on a line with little clothespins, wooden clothespins. And I remember they had to be wooden because it did something to the photo, but I don't remember exactly what it was. But I didn't really get into the technical side or even the artistry side. I just knew I liked taking pictures. And my health has gone bad over the years, and it's gotten to the point where I don't get outside very much, and it's really hard for me to get up and down, especially down low enough to take low-level photos. But the doctors said I needed to get out more, so okay, let's give that a try. So I was able to get a couple little odd jobs that brought me in a little bit extra money. And because of that, I was able to get the Nikon D3300 with the dual lenses. It's absolutely an entry-level camera, but it has really changed how I look at photography and the quality of the photos I've been able to take. I could never take some of the shots I take now with the cameras I had before. Although with Michelle's S7 Edge, maybe I could. It's a wonderful camera, in my opinion. And so I had the dual kit lenses, and I started taking shots, of course. And one of the first ones I took was this one here. And it's not bad. Composition is not good. You got these lines back here that are a mess. You can see there's absolutely no bokeh because I had no idea what to do with the lens settings. Here you can see it's at f8, which this probably should have been at f4, which is about as low as this lens goes. And then a couple of months later, I took this one, and it's a little bit better. Still not great, but it's a little bit better. And then in August, I took this one of my son at my mother's apartment, trying to learn HDR a little bit, and I got a little bit too heavy on this. But I kind of like it. It's not bad, but and you can see I'm getting a little better. And then I took this one. This was my first portrait shoot. This was done in December. I'd had the camera about a month at this point, and we were doing the shoot. It was getting towards dark. This was during the golden hour, and I told my wife to blow her hair out from in front of her eyes. At the same exact time, the wind came up, caught her hair, and as you can see, curled it over. And I didn't even realize this was in the camera until I started processing. And she absolutely hates it. And I love it because even if I tried to recreate it, I could never recreate this photo. Okay? So that's the deal with that one. And then this last month, I was challenged to do nighttime photography, and it's pretty cold here right now. As a matter of fact, right now it's about 12 degrees. So going outside at night is rough, and even going outside sometimes is a real hassle. So I went into my backyard, and one of my friends was burning some of the scrap we had in our burn barrel, and I thought the light was really, really awesome. And I had just gotten this wonderful 50 millimeter 1.8 lens as a gift from one of my mentors, because he wanted to see me take my photography to the next level. And even though this is an inexpensive lens as far as lens costs go, it was something that was probably not going to happen anytime soon. And it's because of that photos like this were made possible. And I really love how sharp this photo is. It's really taken my photography to the next level. And then I went out the other night. A neighbor had requested a moon shot because she really liked the way the moon looked. And so I went out. It was very, very cold. It was 17 degrees. I forgot my gloves. My wife forgot her gloves. And, it's taken at 10 o'clock at night. Luckily, there was no wind. But I discovered that it's very, very hard to hold still enough to focus when it's that cold. And so I'm not sure what the cure is going to be for that yet. But compared to my first moon photos, this one's a big improvement. And, there's been a lot of people that have been instrumental in this happening. You got folks like Joel Grimes, who has wonderful YouTube videos on lighting and how you don't need all these expensive, like the ProPhoto B1 strobes and lighting systems to be able to get a fantastic shot. One of the key people that's been instrumental in my growth as a photographer is Tony Northrup from Tony and Chelsea Live, where every Thursday at 5 o'clock Eastern Time, I know they're not being paid to say this. They don't even know I'm doing this. They do a live show, and they try to review as many photos as they can. And there's a young man there by the name of Kyle Wolf. Let's see. Who, at 17 years old, is already an award-winning photographer. There was a youth contest, and he won 4 different positions in that contest. As a matter of fact, this was the winning photograph that he took. And he's looked at a lot of my photos. He's critiqued a lot of my photos. I've watched his photos and what he does and how he does it, and it's helped me go a long ways. And then Chelsea Northrup is into portraiture quite a bit, and she's done lots of videos with Tony on portraiture and lighting and makeup and processing, and it's really, really made a big difference. And then Siobhan, she's been an inspiration. She just started as a photographer recently. She works with the Northrups, but she's already come so far. And it's really cool to watch her, and she writes a podcast, or not a podcast, a blog about her shots and what she does. It's been really interesting to watch her, listen to her thinking, and learn from it. Learn what works. Learn what I don't understand and why I don't understand it yet everybody else loves it. So it's been really cool. It's been really helpful. And then you've got Joe Edelman, and he shoots only people. That's his whole thing, is people photography. He's got some wonderful videos on YouTube about doing things in the studio, doing things with photography that doesn't require a lot of money. He's shown how to make modifiers like reflectors with very, very little money that can produce professional quality results. And so I'm learning a lot from him about what makes people pretty, what makes people look good, and what makes people doesn't look good at all. There's people like Mario, pardon if I blow your last name, Ustendorp, I believe is how it's pronounced, who's been very wonderful at critiquing my photos, explaining what I'm doing right, what I'm doing wrong, how I can make it better, and sometimes tell me things that I don't want to hear, like, Bear, your photos are shit, which hurt. I mean, but I needed to hear it because I needed to understand what it was I was doing wrong so I could go to the next point. And then there's people like Pip Bacon, who takes amazing, amazing photographs with a very, very simple system. And with her, it's all about the thought process and the clothing. Almost all of her clothing is secondhand. She loves going around with secondhand shops and finding this different clothing and making poses and making shoots that just work. And some of her shots just blow me away. They're absolutely mind-blowing. And I look at them and I try to understand how she lit it, how she came up with the idea, how she gets this wonderful old-time matte look. People like Lindsay Adler, who does fashion photography. She recently did a series on lighting and how it works with models and what happens with the light. And that helped a lot. And then you've got Erin from Flern. And Erin is wonderful in teaching how to use Photoshop, how to use Lightroom. And so all these people have been instrumental in me getting to the point where I'm at now. I've shot almost 16,000 photos this year, which shocks the heck out of me. Thousands of them absolute crap, especially with birds. It's easy to shoot, 500, 600, 700 photos of birds and not even get one good one. I've got some that I thought were really, really close, but then when you zoom in tight, you see they're absolute trash, which is disappointing, but I'm learning more. And one of the main things I've learned is I need to slow down. When I go out there and I look, I need to have an idea what I want, and then I need to slow down. I need to look at the background. I need to look at the composition, which I'm really bad at, and I need to figure out what it's going to look like. I often forget to chimp and look at the back of the camera and see what the image looks like before I just keep shooting. So that's one thing I'm working hard. And so my goal this year is to win one of the challenges in either ViewBug or Guru Shots and get to the point where I'm a good enough photographer that I'm worthy of being called a photographer. Right now, a lot of my photos are just snapshots, even though that's not my goal. I'm constantly trying to do better and better and better. But that's my goal for this year. So I just wanted to say thank you to these people like the Northrops. Their book, Studying Digital Photography, has been great. Their books like Lightroom CC and their Photoshop book have been wonderful in learning how to use the software that I have. I want to encourage you, if you want to do photography, do it. You don't need all this fancy gear. I've got a basic camera, and I'm getting there. I've got a long ways to go, but I like my photos more and more every day, and I'm having fun, and I'm getting out more, and I've got a reason to go out. So it's kind of cool. So anyway, I just want to say thank you and encourage people who want to do photography, go do it. Here's some great people you can learn from, and just keep shooting. Thanks.
Another person that's helped a lot is Tron. He looks at a lot of my images and lets me know what's wrong, let me know what's right. And I look at his stuff, and he's such an amazing photographer. It's, I look at how he lit it, why he lit it, what gear he used to light it, and does it matter if I use that same kind of gear? And he's just a fantastic person, and he helps a lot with me getting to the next point.